about we here camp folk. I want to talk about this little music thing out here. I had a conversation with two different sector of people. One person was with different people and things of that nature and had a background and stuff like that. Another person we had on was a Grammy Award winner type of person, invented all kind of stuff. So my thing here is, you know, I want to encourage young artists today. They got the little royal thing going on. Put forth an effort in your craft, you know, and know that when you're doing this, man, you're establishing your kingdom, your empire, so put in that work, if you want something to come back, you got to be consistent in what you're doing, you know, you can't stop, you got to keep persevering and things of that nature until you bust the doors wide open of opportunities. You can't give up because you're not seeing anything. You know, you have to continue to, especially if you're one that believes in the true Almighty God. You got to know that He's going to supply all of your needs and anything. And we got to quit thinking of ourselves less than who we truly are. A lot of people, I talk to artists occasionally. I remember in a conversation with worldwide collaborations, for example. Um, for some reason, people made them feel like they was underground. I don't even know where that came from, particularly. Because you're not underground. That's like burying yourself. That terminology in itself to say I'm underground, I'm not heard of, but in actuality, you are heard of when you're on platforms where everybody else is. There's no way possible. That's just manipulation, man. You out there where everybody else is out there, especially if you're on platforms such as Facebook. If you're on a platform such as Facebook, Instagram, and stuff like that, there's no way possible that you can still be underground. I don't care what nobody tell you, you're not underground no more. That's just a lie. That's the biggest lie ever, that you are underground. How is it that a person can be underground when they're accomplishing everything that they've been accomplishing? If you accomplish some things and you on a platform such as uh, Facebook, or you on platforms such as Big O Live, and you got all of these multiple streams and things of that nature. My thing is, why limit yourself to say that, oh, I'm underground? Because don't nobody actually particularly know this, that, and the other about me. It was good because some people be like, well, I'm not going to sell out to this, I'm not going to sell out to that. But how did we get twisted and lost in all of that stuff in the first place? How did you get lost in uh, the format of you saying that you were underground? How could you be possibly underground? You know, that's like burying yourself. Say, well, I'm so low that can't nobody hear me. No, that's a false way of doing things. You are independent, maybe, you know, and that would be more of a better thing to say I'm independent, but I'm not underground, And some people are independent, but they might have a small buzz, in other words. And I ain't talking about like they getting high off something. I'm talking about they got a few followers that are actually following them. You know, they got a few followers following them here and there, you know. And some people, you gotta do what you can do to take it to the next level. And anything that you're doing, you can't stop. You know, you've always got to strive to be better than yourself. If yesterday you did a few things, today do a few more things. Give it your best. Every day try to do things better than the day that you did it before. You know, try to think different. Use positive influences to encourage yourself. Stop putting yourself around people that think less of, because what happened is they'll make you think less than yourself, but then they'll degrade you. You'd be like, why are you degrading me? Because first of all, they can be influenced by something demonic. People can be demonically influenced. So they've been and said, well, you're not really there like you need to be. But in actuality, that's like how God was, okay? God created everything, and they say God is not God, but he created everything. He created the soul, he created everything. So if he created everything, then why are they debating? Why are they manipulating? How can you manipulate another person's dreams or another person's goals? Because if you call things be not though as they were, then it really doesn't matter if the next person believes in you or not. You have to believe in yourself. And so most people, they don't believe in themselves, and they have given up in particular areas. Like I said, two different people I was able to engage in conversation today. One thinks totally different from the other. Sometimes you just got to be real with yourself and say, you know, we get to a point in the industry you know, we do be accomplishing it, but sometimes we don't keep a good record on ourselves. So the artist got to say, I got 100 views, you know what I'm saying? But he got less than 25 on one account. But then on another account, he did actually have over 1,000 views, so you got to be able to do your particular rights and wrongs. You got to be able to accurately project what it is that you're doing, you know. And like I was telling them today, you know, if you got all of these people helping you, then there's no need for anybody else to help you, because now you can counsel the third parties. You know what I'm saying? If everybody got something, like, for example, if a person has a radio station and they have connections and stuff like that, then everybody's going to say, well, let's come to my radio station. But since everybody's starting to learn how to start one, then it's kind of hard, you know, to get everybody's attention, because people are getting, you got to have something that's worthy of keeping the audience, uh, that you have. What's going to make them come to your network? What is it that you're going to bring to the table that's different from anybody else? What's unique about you? What is unique about you? What are you bringing different? It's a lot of the other networks. What's going to make a person want to come to your particular network? Or what's going to make a person want to connect to your independent label? You know, these are some things we should deal with in life. Or what's going to make a person come to your business? Let's say you got a small business, but you're looking to become a big business. The way that you get it with a big business is, first of all, you go back and count the cost as a small business, to make sure all your things going to the point. So now that the more information that you get, the bigger your business becomes. The the less information makes you a small corporation. But I personally believe if a person has a boatload of information, there's no way that you can still be a small corporation with all of the information. If you have the information, then you're saying, okay, well, I can also help other companies. if you're helping other companies and things of that nature, or even if you started a ministry or a church or something like that, okay, the more that you have to provide, the more you're able to help other people, and they're able to come to a one-stop shop thing. They're able to just come to you, and you, because you have everything that a person needs. You know, I was dealing at one time with guys that were talking about, oh, well, I'm underground. I'm an underground artist. I'm an underground label. They know me underground. I'm like, underground. You know what's underground? Underground is not really cool to even say. So what I did is when we had a worldwide collaboration meeting, I gave them a different spin on things. I said, how about just be independent than placing it underground? Just say, I'm independent. I'm not underground. I'm just independent. You know, I may not be major, but I'm independent, you know, and, you know, you might do certain things that's not heard on mainstream, but that still would put you in a place of independent. I'm independent. I'm different. Things like that. You got an independent business. Okay, you got an independent business. You ain't major, but you independent. You one thing that you do understand is that you're independent. Everything that you do is all based off what you have gathered along the way. You have gathered this information, you know, for yourself. So the first thing is, before it can ever start with a team of people, it has to start with the individual first. You know, so if you have the drive to be able to gather all of this information, then your independent business, with depending on your connections, will then make you a major business. Then from being a major business, then you're going to multinational. And when you get to multinational, that means you're able to provide a variety of different services according to what has been established by man here on earth. And God said, whatever they have called it. So if man has called it that in the previous times, that's why it's called multinational. And multinational is that you're national, but you have multi different platforms, and you're not just in this one nation. You're in multiple nations, and sometimes when people be independent, they do be on a major place, whether they realize it or not. See, you can be independent by yourself, but if you get on a network like Facebook, oh, now you done became major for real. Or you get on a platform such as Have CV. You know what I'm saying? You on these platforms like that. So you ain't independent no more. You don't become independent no more. You become major. And so when you get major, now you might accomplish certain things in that major realm. So because now you're one step up further to help an independent now. You're able to help an independent do what they do. You know what made you major is you have major connections with major people doing things. So you come from independent, just you and a variety of different services that you provide. Then when you become major, you're able to provide for not only other services, but for other people. You know, they say you are, in other words, you're a major connect. They won't say you were just an independent connect. They would say you somebody major that I need to connect to. You know what I'm saying? When that is spoken, a word spoken is a word born. So if you're a major plug in, then you have to now say that I'm in that place of major because I can help other independents uh, with what it is that they have. You know, so that's major. All right. But then let's go a little step further. If you happen to be a major company, do you have what multinationals? Now, multinationals, they have multi services, they have multi uh, platforms, products. For example, a company that I was helping build before, like Worldwide Collaborations, for example, is an LLC. So this company here has a variety of different things because it's connected with a lot of different people. So it can no longer classify that it's an underground company. It has to now take the status of being what? It has to take the status of being a multinational. So in being a multinational, you are thinking totally different from the next person. You know, now connections, you have connections for the let's say the majors now, right? So you have a connection for the major companies because you're multinational. Now you got multiple products, multiple services, and things of that nature. So if you're offering, okay, let's say you're independent. Let's go back down to independent. So you got particularly maybe a few services that you provide. Okay, so you're independent. Ain't no major company really helping you do what you do. Ain't no really big investments, no big platforms that is really supporting you at the time. So you say, well, I got an independent business. I just get out here. I do basically most of my advertising on my own. And that would be basically independent. But then when you start having major connections, then that's a whole nother thing. And even from that point to multinational companies. So first of all, you got to deal with people who you want to become. You got to think of something bigger than what you actually are. So you got to look at yourself and say, well, I know I might start it off independent, and I got enough that I got just a few services that I could provide. But then when you got multitude of services, oh man, ain't no way that you still going to be an independent company. Now you could say, well, I paid for these services here and there, and you might be comfortable in the independent state. But then when you get a major company that has major connections, they be like, well, I'm a major company. Let's say, I'm just using an example. A major company say, well, look, I can put this much capital behind you to help you. You give me some reasons why I should promote your company. In other words, why should I give you any amount? It don't matter it don't matter to a dollar from to whatever the case may be, because the dollar in America, it may look weak, but to a lot of people it's strong, depending on where your mindset is. Because on the Federal Reserve note, just hate to tell you that, but it said it's going to cancel all debts, public and private, just in case somebody forgot that. So $1, I ain't saying $10,000, but $1 in itself still shows you're in a place of richness. But certain people have been blinded to being filthy rich. They be like, well, you're not rich. But in actuality, you don't know that I am rich because I got one of these. So if I have one of these, then just one of these gets me to a place of rich. But your point, you don't acknowledge that as rich, but you look at that as filthy rich. See, what in society, they want you to be filthy rich, because they can look at you and say, "Uh, you're rich, and to what capacity?" Well, you got to go back to the definition of it in life. Poor means you have nothing, absolutely nothing. You're poor in some area. Some people say, "Well, I ain't poor. I got a house and a car. You know, I got a job, so I'm not poor." Okay, but in actuality, is that all that they got? And 9 times out of 10, people, they have those particular things and everything else to go along with that. But when it comes to everything else, they poor in it. And they'll say, I ain't poor. Well, how's your health? You know, is your health in a proper place? Nah, most people health is poor. So you always poor. How is your joy? Are you rich in joy or are you poor in joy? When it comes to long suffering, are you rich in it or are you poor in it? How about your temper? Are you uh do you have temperance or do you not? Oh, we can go one string further. Now you might have money, but do you have faith? Are you poor in faith? Now we talking. So all of these are the root causes to why people think the way that they think nowadays. I've dealt with a lot of different people every day, every other day. I get opportunity to check out new opportunities, and people have actually put me alongside of their businesses. I've had like one of my favorite shows on TV I usually watch, literally with Shark Tank, right? So on Shark Tank, I used to see them doing what they do, and then they help other businesses. But here's the simple fact of the matter with this. Now, check this out. I've been able to connect with companies, or just on Facebook alone, where they wanted me to be an administrator with a business. Like literally, I mean, if you go to my Facebook, you will see all kind of people, and I can point them out to you where they wanted me to run this particular page, and they just left. They just left for a minute, and they just made me administrator of the page. You don't know how many times people have said, "Hey, I like what you're doing. Can you run this page for me?" I got entertainment companies, Christian entertainment companies, that said, "Hey, won't you take this as this?" Now, people just thought because of the color of my skin that it was going to be easy for me. That's the biggest lie that a person can ever tell, because I can have the most difficult time in coming up with most of the stuff that I come up with. So it hasn't always been easy as it seems. And it wasn't just off the complexion of my skin. It's just that certain things I'm gifted in that other people may not be gifted in, or they may be gifted in something that I'm not gifted in, but I take it one day at a time. And that's what we should do as a people. We ought to take it one day at a time. Take things one day at a time. I remember a couple of years ago, I think I had everything complete. I started seeing myself in bigger places and everything. And then the enemy came in like a flood. And I said, okay, now what's this all about? And I had a big vision on where I was getting ready to take everything. I hadn't got it all in my mind together at that time, but I saw that, okay, I would have something big. God was enlarging in something that was bigger than me at that time. And I didn't really get it at that particular time. I couldn't see it because of the stuff that I had went through. It wouldn't allow me to see that. I wasn't allowed to see any of the stuff that I now see. So now I can reflect back in a day like this when I'm more calmer, I'm more relaxed, less stressed out, thinking more in my wise mind. And so when I'm thinking in my wise mind, I begin to look at things as they were. So I got to seeing like all these different particular opportunities started coming back and forth to me, like literally all kind of companies. People be saying, "Where is these companies at?" Like, man, you can't, you your eyes couldn't even fathom some of the people that have before they started just letting people connect to different groups and stuff like that. It was people adding me to groups, like literally, like, we want you a part of this, help us build this, help us build that, help us build this, board member of that, board member of this, board member of that, you know part of this, part of that, you know to the point that I knew how to, I knew something that I didn't even know I knew, until I got like under a certain pressure. And then everything started coming out to the surface. And then I started understanding things better by and by, because I believe that in my heart, I said, okay, my people may have stopped at a certain point because of the enemy putting thoughts in their mind that they could not achieve a certain level of success because of the tormenting spirits that caused them to be deluded from the truth. Okay, so they uh, they it was a stumbling somewhere that made them not be able to see their full potential. To the point, my dad, he started in the direction. I seen him when he would be at companies, and he would be in the company and they would have like the little stock market on. He never really got in it like that. He never got involved in it, but he was in a company where he saw it. He never got to really get to that place. But guess what? My sister did. My little sister is accomplishing his dream. She took on a part of starting her own cake thing. She did it. And then on my end, I started my own little media company, a news media company, which I never thought I would do. First, I was entertainment. First, it was entertainment. It was Cow Cutter Entertainment. And I started working on that, particularly from there, started trying to add up to see if that's where I wanted to go. And then I started off doing good things, and then things stopped for a season, you know. And then I had to regroup and recollect my thoughts and go back to the drawing board to see what I can do next. So now I'm at this place called I'm here at this particular point. I'm at this particular position in my life where now I have to think in my wise mind about certain situations. So I got to think, okay, I'm connected to a variety of different services now, because I reached out and I wanted to do something better, not only for myself, but for my children's children, and not only for my children's children, but to help other people, that will eventually come along and may need a helping hand in their goals, dreams, aspirations, or whatever you want to call it. You fill in the blank. I was wanting to inspire other people, so I began to just seek and find. So I went out through the different ways that you go out, and I began to seek things. And then there was this particular platform, and I said, okay, here we go. Is even a greater service that we can now provide. So in that, I I have to stop and give the glory to the Almighty God who created the souls and the mind for the soul to be able to create the things that is now created. In other words, I mean, without the mind, without the heart, without a soul, without the breath to be able to do so, we wouldn't accomplish nothing. So there are some great people that have done some great things. Some people have done it as in evil ways, you know, and have eventually learned the hard way, that man, it's gonna be a great fall if you start off wrong, but then you have your other people that have done things out of the good. Like, okay, you see something different. Like, oh man, I'd rather be wise than ignorant any day. And choices come up every hour, every minute, every second of our day that we in, which is this is the day that the Lord has made, and we shall rejoice and be glad in it, not sad, not distressed in it, but we should take the opportunity as is. And so when it comes to opportunities such as being an independent, a major, or a multinational, we got to look back at where we started from. What is it that's going to make other people want to connect with you? What's going to stand out from any other person? Because out here in society, I learned from doing a little research, doing studies from the FTC and stuff like that, that when they talk about fair competition and stuff like that, making sure everything is reasonable and stuff like that, right? So, it is a competition that you got to believe that that's that. But once it comes to a place that we can all merge together, oh, now we got something magnificent. You know what I'm saying? When everybody can merge together, oh man, that's that's like the greatest moment of all time because you got a variety of different companies in one nutshell. Look how many companies Facebook actually had that merged with Facebook on the Facebook platform where they sales and thing. The more companies that came in up under that, the more people that started having pages and websites and all of that stuff, that made that company more bigger, that people wanted to connect with that company in a greater way because they had a lot of stuff that was present. They got Instagram, they got all kind of stuff going on the messenger. You got all kind of different stuff that Facebook brought to the table, and to the point that Facebook was literally the place to go to, and it still is the place to go to because they always was creating stuff. They was a step ahead of everybody else that was doing what they was doing, to the point that they eventually invested in them and even sometimes bought them out if they was doing something that they thought, you know, could be beneficial to the future of their business, right? So look at that network. You know, Facebook had a variety of different people that was like, I want to use this platform. So now you got businesses, you got regular people that are using these platforms to the point that now you're part of the Facebook business thing with your business. Your business is seeking Facebook's services. So now you're part of the you're part of that company. And ain't no way that with the things they got there that you're gonna be able to stay in that position that you started off with. You might have started off there lower than what you really thought you were gonna do. But as time go on, the connections to the community that you live in and the people that's yet to come in contact with you, oh, once that start happening, then that's when your real dreams are realized. So you can start off as an independent and you might say, man, I just want to start working with these people here and there. So then that's that. Okay, so that's independent, which is all cool. Some people, that's as far as they might go, is the independent. But then when they say, man, I can do this just like the multinationals. I'm about to have multiple streams of stuff. I might start off as an independent. Now, if I would have knew this back in the day, I would have just did it this way. But since we were so in a rush to success, we took some of the other doors and we went through the trial and error and understanding that you probably would have been better off, but because you were such in a rush to accomplish things, this is why you went through the things that you went through. But it's better to be in your wise mind than be ignorant. You know, in your wise mind, you'll see certain opportunities as uh, greater opportunities. You'll be able to say, man, this is a delightful opportunity for me to make an impact in other people's lives, not just like a few people in your neighborhood or your community. And there's nothing wrong with just having that and just being grateful for that. Some people, that's all they may ever do is reach that particular community they in. That's as big as their heart gonna go. You know, they might have a store there. But then as time go on, they might get an ideal to say, I'm thinking about expanding this. The faith in you, it'd be too bigger. It'd be way bigger than what you think of yourself. I'm thinking like, well, I got a little business right here in the neighborhood. That's as far as it's gonna go. Well, put it on one of them big platforms. Put it on a live stream platform, let everybody see it. Now you got the opportunity to come from an independent to a major opportunity. Because now your little independent business is going to look very beneficial to somebody to say, I like that idea. So I want to help you. I'm a major company. I want to help your independent business. I got a certain sources of resources. So then that major company come back to you. Now, as time go on, as you working with the major company, now you got major connections. Okay, now it comes to the day that you became a mate. When you became the major became a multinational because now they saying, okay, they growing, so as they growing, I gotta grow, and that's the whole way of life. Things keep growing. You know, as you bless other people, you get blessed more. So if I start off with just the independent person and show that person, okay, look, it's you. You're at this point that we say, I am here. This is where I'm at here in life. I'm at this point. It's just me, the independent person. So you take that independent person to an independent opportunity. Now, when you get to the independent opportunity, all of a sudden, that vision, when you get with God, expands. And you start seeing stuff different. You say, oh, I can do this, that, and the other. You start launching out and different things. You try different things to say, well, I feel this, I feel that. I could possibly do this, or I can do that. This is my way of doing things. And you feel comfortable about it. But man, the day when you become that major company, you're going to feel different from the independent times. You're going to say, man, I got major opportunities now. Okay. But it get even greater when you become a multinational in your field of business. What do they say? Oh, we multinational. We everywhere. You know. So, I just wanted to say that today. That don't be discouraged in your small beginnings. I got to get this off of here so I can go back to doing this part. Don't don't despise small beginnings in your visions and dreams in life. I think they did it again. I don't actually need the visual. Uh, in time, you know, you really don't actually need to uh, be discouraged in your small beginnings. Because you might be in a small beginning like, oh, I just need a little basic little job and get some little money. I gotta get me a basic little place, stuff like that. So you glad about that. You got your little small little place. Then you're at that place called there. So you're there in that place, and it might be all for some people. Some people, not all people, but some people get in that place and they get comfortable. They get that job and they get little things, but they heart not really huge. It's only about particularly what they doing. So they feel like, hey, shoot, I'm blessed. I'm living. I ain't got to worry about nothing else. I got what I got for me. And to them, they feel that they have the blessing. They say, I'm blessed. I'm blessed because I got this little basic job. I got me a little car, or I got me a little, whatever the case may be, and I'm good enough. And if you ask them people, would you like to expand that? They'll say, no, I'm kind of set in where I'm at. I don't really want to do anything else. So to that person, unless time tells them something different, you can't convince them that let's go to the next level, because they feel like, hey, I've done this to the least of them. And you can't knock that person. You just can say, well, I got to find somebody else that wants to bless more people, you know? And some people are not looking at that to be a blessing to some, you know, that they have yet to connect to. And this is why we stay stagnated in life because some people, they don't even go to that extreme. They just stop at themselves, some basic stuff. And they got the potential, they got the talent, they have the promises from above, and they have the mindset to be beneath. You're out here in life. You know, I thought about it today and I had to change the thought process I had, the processes I had. I'm like, I didn't choose to be here. I was created here. You know, I was brought into this here existence. It wasn't like my choice, it was two other people's choices that I'll be birthed here. So now that I'm here, this is the thought I had today, but I had to cast that thought down because I was like, well, I didn't ask to actually go through all of this like that. You know, that's actually, when you really think of it, to some people that might be a positive thing, some kind of way, but then it could be a negative because that means you will never go no further than where you are at that particular time. If you say, well, hey, this that I don't care what it is, I'm gonna just stay in this position, and if that be the case, you can do that. It's your choice, especially as a adult. You're not forced to do anything that you don't want to do. If you don't want to be blessed, to that don't mean that you curse, you know, because you don't want to do this, that, and other. You say, if you go to God and say, this is enough, you can do that. But it's not really the full thing of life what God really wants you at. You know, some people, they do things, and uh, some people get happy off they might feed that one homeless person, and they might feel like to themselves, I've done that. I helped that one person, and that's good. And you might get two or three that might get blessed by those particular people, you know, as far as life goes. But the rest of the time, it goes to them, and that, to them, they have their own way of feeling that they blessed. They say, "Well, I helped the least esteemed," and that's good, you know. But it could get greater. But let me tell you this: everybody don't think that mindset. Like I said earlier, my mindset was telling me something different. I just woke up. I said, "You know what? I got that." It's like one of them days. I felt it again. I'm like, oh man, I'm feeling these bad thoughts. Within, ain't nobody projecting it. It's just me. I just had the thought. I'm like, man, I'm in this society that I ain't even get. I ain't got no choice to do what I'm doing. You know, people just make you want to do stuff. Now, in this life, there's blessings and curses. Now, if you don't know this, then it's a losing benefit in life. So people all around you be like either shooting for you to get one or the other. But you're like, in life, you don't really get, none of us really, the ones that got created, we got to, like, I think about my kid, like, oh man, they can be going through some hardship because I created them. But I created them to have blessings. But who's to say they go through some things and be like, I don't really like all of this like that. What if they got to that place in life? Then I would have to understand them like that. But like, you know, life is something else out here. Just being realistic. Now I can take that. That could be looked at as a negative energy. You know, 'cause they be like, man, go ahead and live your life. But like, that is my life. You know, don't try to project You know, people will try to project, and this is the problem. I tell people that, because I've learned certain things that I'm one of the people. I may choose to do it or I may not choose to do it. I can have all of the actual things, and I can hear demons, and I can hear everything else that ain't a demon telling me, well, you go ahead and do this, that, and other. Go do this, that, and other. I'm like, nope. You know what? I changed my mind. I do that real quick and be like, I don't want to do that. I see what that do to people. You know, I made it in mind. I made it in my mind. I said the Bible says a good name is better than great riches. I can have all the key tools to do this. That's why maybe why some people think they underground in life in the industry, music industry. It may be because of the thought process. But I'm not saying they was thinking like I'm thinking right now, but it's something that makes them feel the way that they feel. So I started thinking this morning. I actually had this thought, and I'm thinking to myself, I was like, you know what? Life is something else. And people think that you actually asked for it. It's not that you actually asked for it. You was just brought into it. And some people along their journey, they didn't really want you to get the blessings in life. They made you, they tried to curse your life, thinking that to curse you was a blessing. And then you wondering why certain people looking at you in certain ways or look at you and stigmatize you. They get to looking at you and maybe your character or something like that says something different because they look at everybody in the same particular eyeball. They have an evil eye to their neighbor all the time. They thinking maybe you trying to do this, that, and the other like that. No, it's not that. So don't put that energy off on me. Don't say nothing to me. If you can't say something positive, don't say nothing at all. You know. And so that's how I feel. I feel like first of all, to get along with people, and this is what I projected. When I think like that, I have to get to a place where I gotta cast that thought down because before time I've been amped up. But what I'm fighting against is the thoughts that everybody else that was in the, that had the creation process, what they was thinking. And thinking like, why they think the way that they think? Why do they think the way that they think? Why do you think the way that you think? And to some people they be like, oh man, you just discouraged, you don't know what you're missing. It could be something else that you're going through that make you feel like that. And 9 times out of 10, it could possibly be that something like that is transpiring to make you feel that way. You're like, oh man, if I do this, then it's evil present. If I do that, then it's evil present. If I do something good, then there's some evil there. You know why? Because of what other people words said. People can look at. I could be in a community and I could think anything I want to think about myself. Now that I'm at this age, people start thinking that they can put their stuff in, put they project what they want to project on me. And I'll be like, look, I don't want this. I don't want that. I don't even want to do that. I don't want to do this. I don't want none of that. And they were like, here, we want to do this for you. Okay, but that's what you saying that God wants to give me. But shouldn't I have the right to say whether I want it or not? And why should I have the consequence if I don't want to receive it? Why do I got to be blessed or why do I got to be cursed? Why do I got to choose it to? Why do you actually got to choose that choice? And if you don't choose it, then why are you condemned by it? You know, these are questions when I go through things like that. Now I can know the answer, but I actually go through that. I be like, wait a minute, man, I don't really have to do all this like that. I don't really have to bless everybody like that. I could just focus on me. Now, that don't really sound like a blessed life. That be sound like that's a that sound like more like the other sound like the cursed life. But in actuality, why you can't just be grateful for whatever you grateful for. See, the problem is people want to project their blessings on what they want you to have. It's not what God really wants you to have. And then on the flip side of it, it may be. Some people be like, you need to have this, or you need to have that, or you got to do this, or you got to do it like this. Go ahead and get it, make it real big, make it real big. Oh, so you're trying to make me do something that I ain't really wanting to do. I don't really want to do it that way. I started off in that direction, but then I stopped. And now that I'm at this particular level, I'm thinking like, you know, I have options to say whether I want to do this, or whether I want to do that. And like I was talking to somebody earlier, I had to, it's up to me to cast down that thought, that imagination that exalts itself against the knowledge of God, because the enemy will put stuff out on you. Like one time, I went to a church, and this man said, "Are you gonna have a bunch of women coming to your church?" I was like, "See, that's spiritual wickedness in high places." Because I said, "No." I, I I felt so tormented by that. I said, "Oh no, you ain't about to put that on me. That's not what I want. I don't want that like that." But I remember he seen me and he said, "You're gonna have a bunch of women to come to your church." I said, "Well, guess what? I ain't about to do it. Now because you said that, I ain't doing that." I felt that type of way and I was really very serious. I was like, "Oh no, you ain't about to do that, brother. That ain't a black where's a book chapter and verse is that?" And it was a book chapter and verse ministry. So I'm thinking like, what you trying to put up on me? That's not what I asked God for. So why would you put something on me that I ain't trying to put on me? That's because of their opinions. And people will put their opinions on you. And that ain't the blessing of God. Sometimes all you got to do is bless the widow woman or bless the least esteemed and get the blessings. Now you might have opportunities to bless other people, or these opportunities may not be particularly for you to live them, but you're creating them for the generation after you to have because you've already made the accomplishment. To me, this is just my spin on life. See, I think different. Well, we have the opportunity to be different. I say at this particular point in my life, it's up to me. Ain't nobody gonna change me to think of nothing. When it comes to the opportunities, I can say to myself, nope, I did this, that, and the other. I started that. I started this, that, and the other. Now it went to so far, and I've done that a couple of times already. So that's telling me something in my mind is telling me that I gotta slow it down. You know, one part of me, when I be on fire, be energetic, it's like go for it, go for it. And then the other part, like then I think about it, like, do I really want to do that? Do I really want all of that to come to my face? And then when I thought about it, I was like, I never was a person like that. Why am I becoming a person like that? Because I experienced some events in my life, you know, that made me say, oh no, you know, to whom much is given, much is required. So once that came up, then I started saying, okay, I can possibly do this. It shouldn't harm anything. But then I stepped back. I was like, well, I put it out there. I projected something. So now here come all of the spiritual warfare. And I'm thinking like, do I actually really want that? Do I really want that type of lifestyle? Now, is obedience is better than sacrifice. You know, I'll be obedient. I can still be obedient to God's word and not do anything else in actuality. But just be faithful over that which He's given me. So if he give me opportunity, I mean, these things can come and go. I can say to everything that I've already done, just in connecting and the little things that I did, that I built a relationship with these particular people, these particular businesses. I could say, well, it's up to me. The next move is on me. No matter how many people encourage me, they could be, they can be having it right down to the T, and it could be the actual thing that could be inspired by God. But you know what I could say at the end of the day? I could say, I don't want to do that. But then it would make me feel like, then that's the part that make me feel like, well, dang, did I just become a lover of my own self? Then I'll be trying to, that'll be opening something up for me to really, to go back under the curse. And why do that? Why go back to the curse? But see, life in itself, people don't really have great visions for life. And that's probably why most of us have challenges. And you may not have the challenges, but some people in life, they got the challenges. They be like, I don't really want to do none of this. And they don't find none of this stuff. What you find interesting, they don't find none of that. They like, please, I'm not going to a corporate office. I ain't putting on no tie. I ain't about to cash no check. I don't need no cards. They feel like all of that. They feel like I don't need none of that. But other people, they like, shoot, I'm about to go get this. I'm having fun. Look at me having fun. And other people are like, well, shoot, that's fun to you, but this ain't fun to me, because some people, they feel that all of the negativity that they've been through, and what might have been spoken over them might have been the end result of why they in that position. They might be like, man, I don't find nothing funny about none of this. I just want time to go by, go to sleep, wake up, go to sleep, wake up. That's how they feel. They might eat a little bit. They might get their daily bread. Some people will never, ever have a multinational company. Some people will never, ever have a major company, or neither independent company. There's a lot of people that will be homeless for a long time because you're not gonna be able to. I don't care how tough it get. They gonna be like, shoot, at least I got a roof over my head. I got food. I'm good. You know, they like that type of stuff. Some people like that. They like. I thought about it many times. I was like, I don't like some of these things. But then again, when you get your certain freedom, you know, that feels like halfway decent. We're like, well, when you doing that, they kind of corrupt. If it wasn't so much corruption to the least esteem, then maybe that'd have been the thing to do. But now that I'm on this level, I'm be like, and then I hear everybody how everybody else projection is, and sometimes I be going against the grain and saying things. And I say, you know what? Do I really want to do this? And then I've been blessed somebody, and I've been thinking like, you know what? I'm gonna have to. That may have to be the last thing, unless God show me something different. Because it's in my heart to do something bigger. But then I'm still breaking curses, still breaking certain things off that's trying to be formulated on me, whether a person know it or not. Every day, trials and tribulation come, and people don't ever think. It don't matter how great you may want to be. You can want that, but there's obstacles even within our own selves, our own minds, that will block us from our true destiny. Some people be like, well, shoot, good luck in that. Good luck in your journey. Have fun. You know, have fun along the way to success. And I heard many people say that. They be like, see you at the top. I'd be like, where you think I'm going? I've been at the top of different places, but I've been a low place. But you think I want to be on the top? Is is I'm doing everything to put myself in the top? No, I'm doing everything to put myself in a place where I could just love my neighbor as myself. I'm not even looking at actually to be truthful. If I be truthful within myself and respectful to the people around me, I'll say I don't want none of it. They be like, you don't want all of this out here? Absolutely not. You know why? Because I might say these things because of all the different thoughts that put that in my life to think these things. I didn't actually put myself in this position. We were taught all of these things. You was taught these things, and you think that you think you find in life, but is you really find in life? Some people think they found life, and to them, it's good. And they look at you like, man, won't you get up on this like this? You got the mindset, you got the concept. Won't you just do that like that? And I'd be like, nope. Now, what I would do, I'm a seeker and a finder, so I just give out information. Be like, here, just, I ain't trying to do that. I tell people quickly, I don't want none of the stuff that the world got to offer me. Don't want none of that the church got to offer me. I don't want none of that. None of that they got to offer. Literally. I don't want none of it. What you can do is help everybody else with it. I don't want I don't want it. What I want is for people to be respected as who they are, and people to quit being covetousness after that, because it's already hard enough that we were brought into this world and it's got rules and regulations that we have to abide by in life, you know, all because of what two people did, a male and a female. And we got to deal with this majority of our life that they brought us into this stuff. And I think about it because I think about my own kids. Like, man, if I feel like this, I gotta come from that place. I gotta come from that mindset. What I could tell my kids, oh, they felt like this, like that. I don't know what will possibly happen. They're like, you feel like that? Now how you gonna encourage me? Well, I can't stop them. But what I gotta do is say, y'all be greater, do greater, you know, do greater. I can't put that philosophy on my children. But like, well, see, I ain't feel like that. But I can say that it's not giving up. It's not giving up. It's not giving in. It's just saying, okay, that's, I feel like I've done enough. Cause life itself is like a taskmaster. Cause you always trying to do something different. You know, I feel like you should do less and less. And the only reason I'm dealing with some of the stuff that I deal with in life is because of what other people have spoken in and around my life. I would have never dealt with some of the things I dealt with if the other people wouldn't have projected certain things in and around me. I would have never thought those thoughts. But that's why it made me the way that I did. That's why I come off the way I come off to different people at certain times in my life in a in a way that I saying, look, I don't really want to engage in it. I'll do it because I'm living and to give me something good to do. Uh, One of the hobbies that I got to doing, one of the colleagues that I have, he asked me the other day, he said, so what do you like to do? What are you going to do for your family? What are you going to do for all this? And other? So I ain't going to let my left hand know what my right hand going to do. He was like, you ain't going to tell me none of that? No, because why should I tell you that? You ain't for the favor. You ain't about to do nothing. Because you already told me you was for war, so why should I tell you anything? That's the trip part about society. And it was spiritual weakness in what we was even engaging in. So I learned that. I said, that's some dirty mess, you know, to know the religious aspect of life and then use it politically to manipulate the mind. So I said, okay, that be the case. Let me just step back a little bit further, you know, where I can say, okay, at least it was a, but I don't want the Bible to do it, to put me in a position like this. Ye did run well. Who did hinder you? Then there's more part that you shall not obey the truth. So when people stop you, it's only what it's gonna do is gonna hinder you from the truth of what you really supposed to become. The truth is, think positive thoughts, even if it's hard to think positive thoughts. It's sometimes hard. A lot of people in mental health, they might not never become billionaires. Know why? Because they really are wounded. I don't care. They can be sitting around $1 billion worth of information. They are never really apply themselves to that because they're so hurt, they're so wounded with particular things that they've gone through. And I know it to be true. So we can't cast a stone at glass houses. We have to understand the position in life. And this is why some people and I can reevaluate that, why they think they underground and not accepting the way of independence and not understanding that they're independent. I can understand why the independent may never become a major because of the mindset. It's all in life, it's all about thoughts. If you think what a man think, that's what you're gonna become. So if I say, man, this is it, I'm just gonna live a normal life. I'm at this here place. And I'm just gonna keep everything right where I'm at. If I decide where I'm at is where I'm gonna be until I can't be, then that's up on my choice. They'd be like, well, you're gonna be here for a minute then, So I could choose to say I could deal with certain things. The next person might not deal with it, but I might say, you know what? This it might not be. Maybe I'll be right here. Now I've heard other people that said, man, you can do so much greater. And it's good to feel the positive energy. But then when I look at stuff and when I physically get in stuff and I see people attitudes and stuff and I know how I'm gonna become, I don't like that. I'd be like, it sounds good, it sounds tempting. I would do it, but I don't wanna do it. You know why? Because I ain't about to let myself be belittled by no person. Nobody bothered you telling me what to do. And that's the truth of the fact of the matter. I ain't getting a life of people that say, well, you gotta do it like this, you gotta do it like that. No. What I will do though is help people that like that. I won't say that I may not necessarily do it. Like I I could just pick it up in a spiritual way that people thought I was gonna do all this other stuff. It took me a minute to get on rap fame and do some of the other stuff. It took me a minute, a long time to actually do anything. I was like, I ain't gonna do nothing. I made it up on my I ain't gonna do nothing, I ain't gonna say nothing else. And then I wound up saying it eventually a couple of days later. Because that's me. I can do that. That's who I am. I might continue to do that. But then again, it might be difficult and a success thing, but the question for my own self is the answer is do I really want it because of myself or because of the images that have been projected around me? Is that really what I want? Do I want all of that in actuality, or do I not want it? Because certain things they did come. It is there. Certain things that my pops might not necessarily done. What I done, this a guarantee that my children, they might not do the way things that I've done, but they gonna be able to do greater. That's the Lord's. That's the vision that I have. That's the vision that I have for myself. That this too shall come to pass, even if I choose to say in my life. Now, I can't let nobody else project it because that's, you know what that's called? That's called covetousness. And when people covet, you know, if God is not inspiring, but we can always go back to God, just like we go to Him anytime and say, God, okay, this is becoming impossible to bear. I'm I'm willing to praise you in this state of mind. I'm willing to thank you, but I ain't gonna overdo it just because everything is out here, everything we see, everything we hear, we want to be projected and we think we can we get gun ho in the spirit. With their life we say we can do it. Then when we get it, then that be the end of your life. And be like, I was living better, not going forward. The more I go for stuff, that's the quicker life to death. And I was like, well, I think I was living before I chose that route. To me, I feel like I'm living because I'm breathing. So to the next man, they might say, well, I want to do this, that, and another. They can keep that opinion to themselves, you know? Like I don't I don't force people to like hear me out, you know. They be like, well, won't you do this like that, that, and other? I'm like, well, I can think that, but in my mind, you never want to get in trouble with my thoughts, you know. And what I'm thinking is that I do something totally different. You're like, what is you talking about? I didn't say any of that. I didn't say I want to do none of that. I don't want to do none of that. And I come to the place. You think I really want to do that? You think I really want to know you? You think I really want to be around you? You think I want to engage with you? I don't want to. I don't want to do none of these things around you. Uh, Sometimes I feel like that. But guess what? The life learned lesson is: can I cast that imagination down, that thought down? Can I do that and be able to still be able to respect my neighbors and society? Can I still have a sound mind? Even though I might not do what I did before, is it a way for me still to project good behavior? Even though I might say, I don't want to do this other stuff. Now, it's a promise that God will do it for your children, though. See, King David, he had a desire to give God a house, a guy. But guess what? He couldn't do it because he had sin, but he was still blessed in some kind of way that King Solomon was able to do it. And that's how I feel. I feel like a King David. I feel like, okay, God, all I'm able to do is give you a little tent. That's it. But then I got to experience the rest of the that come along. And that's what I'm fighting against every day. I'm fighting against that. See, King David made it past my age, probably. Where it could be off of research, he probably did pass it by past my age at a certain age, the older than that. So at this age, I have to make wiser decisions, even though I have did this. And yeah, it did start off like, oh, it's about to be amped up, you know, but then it came to this point that it's not all what it's cracked out to be. I look around and I see and I deal with different people and I hear and I see on multitudes of different networks on how things going. But I look at it like, do I actually want to engage in all of that? No, I don't. It's what other people want to put on you. I think to me, it is unfair that you have to be all these things just because other people want you to be these things. You could be what you want to be. If you want to be a fisherman and catch a few fish every once in a while, then that's what you're going to be. The next people want you to be, it's good for them to root for you, but that don't mean you're going to do it. I don't know. A lot of people, they thought I was going to do something, and I'd be like, man, I ain't going to even do that. They was like, oh, you ain't even go that direction. So what is we talking about? I don't know. I don't know what you're projecting. The devil does that. I don't know what you projecting. I didn't project that. I didn't tell myself that. I might have prayed for that. But then I might go to the point that it's like, do I really want to receive what I prayed for? Or do I believe that he's a rewarder? Yeah, God is still a rewarder. But I might say, okay, now I got this, but then this goes to my children's children. It don't. The next person is not going to understand that. If they was to look in, they'd be like, "Now, how you going to do all this like that? You should do this like that, like that." But I say, it's already worked out. It's already worked out. I already got it figured out. It's less stressful for me to be able to do stuff. So whatever is going to be less stressful for me. See, I thought about that. I was like, to this day, I got connections to great people. I got great visions and stuff like that. I can speak it out there, and things will wind up happening. But then I reflect back and be like, okay, now what I just do that for? Because now I got to deal with the consequences of what's about to come alongside of this. Now, am I going to really take that as is, or is this going to change my character? With what I got, am I going to continue to be cheerful? I'm going to be blessing, or I'm going to get up there and mess up everything, you know. And that's what I got to make a surety of every day of my life, that I don't just get in a position and just say, forget all this. And they be looking like they be getting excited. I'd be like, man, forget all y'all. I've done that before. I'd be like, I don't want none of this stuff. People be thinking they be smiling. They be like, y'all, you smiling at me? You is my enemy. What you talking about? I don't like you. I've done stuff like that. So my thing is that one thing that I've learned and I can share with people is you can follow peace with all men. Whatever I do, I keep it to myself. I try to help anybody that I can help, you know. And it's not, I definitely don't want to let my behavior put me in a place where I'm on a curse, but to deal with life, I have to take it one day at a time, even though I do have the things to be able to do, but I have to stop and say, well, I have to use, as I started off with this, I have to use my wise mind. Am I able to use that wise mind to even think about these things? Because I thought about it. I was like, man, first of all, I shouldn't have to do all this. I shouldn't have to go through hearing what I'm hearing, seeing what I'm seeing, or anything. I shouldn't even be able to feel none of this stuff. But why we gotta feel this? Life itself can be slavery. Somebody else don't even know that. Like, shoot, as long as you're living, you gotta do all this every day. You gotta do all of this. Life, life, life. Life, life can be good. But to the one that accomplished that, and continue to stay that, you got to salute those type of people. You have to salute those type of people. Salute those type of people that make it like that. You got to salute those type of people because they trying to do that. Like the youth, they trying to do that. So they made it past where the ancestors can't make it. The ancestors, they didn't think about being multi-millionaires and stuff like that. So then I started saying, hold on, you know, uh, maybe I'm thinking different. I need to think like they thought about stuff. Maybe I'm missing something because I'm in this age of this age. They weren't in this age. They might not have liked this age like that. You know, it's a possibility. It's a possibility that they might not like everything that they are actually saying. It's a lot of things we might not even like. We might say this, that, and the other, but do we really enjoy it at the end of the day? Because why do millionaires get stuff, billionaires get stuff, and at the end they be like, "Man, you got everything. Why did you do that like that?" Because they never stopped in life and never had that moment to just say, you know, can I just take a break from this? When you get out there, seeking all of this stuff, I say we that because I say this because people need to really be real within themselves. That's how you get your real healing. Saying what your real feelings really are. Some people, things in life, you know, will cover up what you're really feeling. So when you do get like that, then they're not able to cope with. They don't have the right coping mechanisms. Then they try smoking, they try sexual things, they try drugs, they try harming themselves or harming other people. It's a whole host of stuff that people try. But why do they try those things? Because they're trying to figure out why they even in a position they're in. People can't understand, well, why I'm going through this, why I'm going through this, why nothing ever happened, why I got to go through this. It's sometimes the words that we are spoken, the way that we think, and we can't blame nobody but ourselves for doing that. So if I choose to think this way, and I can't project that, thinking that my children don't think the same way that I'm gonna think because they're in a different time, a different age. So I might have got this at a certain level to it, but hey, ain't no telling what they gonna take it to, or they might go in a whole different area, you know, or they might because they got the blood in them, they might take it and do greater, you know. They might have something greater in depending on what they learn. So I can't put it past them. You can't put it past them, you know. So like I said, everybody's on something different. And what looks like a blessing may not always be a blessing at the end of the day. It may not always be a blessing, you know, to everybody. We gotta get to know people and not just saying that well, we can put this out there, we can do this, that, and the other. Like I said, I've done that. People try to do things, and maybe because my heart was a certain way, maybe I should have been more forgiving about situation. It trust me, to feel like I feel, there's got to be something that makes me feel that way. To say, you know what, I don't want to. I don't want to take this no further than what I'm taking it. Now, where there's no vision, the people perish. So if I have as long as I got the vision, it. But I gotta keep, and then the other part of me, it is, my mind will say, "But how is it gonna go?" Like, unless it just, you know, down the line, somebody see that it's something that it can be worked with, because so all I do was spoke it, spoke it, spoke it, spoke it, spoke it, spoke it. And some people be like, no, that's the spirit of the devil. No, it's my personal thoughts. The devil didn't make me think it. God ain't making me think it right now. God ain't making me think this. And definitely the devil ain't making me think it. Because I ain't trying to take no curse. I'm trying to find a way how to just be at peace with what's already been done. Because I feel like the natural person that say, you know, like some of the other people, they find it good to have their house, they have their car, and this, that, and other. But I might just find it good just to be breathing, just to be living. And that in itself is life to me. I may not necessarily need none of the stuff that I think I need. It might, if I got it, it might not still make me happy, because I'm doing that do what? Why am I doing this? Why would I do stuff? Some people be like, well, just do this like that, do this like that. And I say, nah, man, it'd be blessed for me to wake up. This is what I've learned through challenging the, the thoughts in my health. I said, you know what? It's enough about thinking of what the other people want to see me do. Now, you can get all kind of people in and say, from what I've done, what do you think I should do about this? What do you think I should do about that? And they will all project, they will all say something different. So I would say, I don't necessarily want to do it that way like that. And that could be somebody else putting these stuff on me. They talking about that on TV, as a matter of fact. They said older men more likely to be financially secure, less socially isolated. Well, I don't know about those records like that, because in a retiring, I mean, in a senior citizens home, they might do a few things, you know. They doing a few things, but they ain't doing a lot. Like some of them might know. Don't get me wrong. Certain people may like to do things, but you can't knock that with somebody else. You can't knock the way somebody else thinks, and that's the part in life. I'll be true to myself. I'll be like, I can't stand when another person thinks about what I'm particularly doing. Now, I help whoever I gotta help if I need to help them, or you know, we entitled to think whatever we want to think. Can't nobody else cover my thoughts, cover nothing that I got, you know, and it should be the same way. I shouldn't want nothing that nobody else has. Just because they did this, I don't care if they projected a million times. Like, I don't want that. And if I get something, what God has for me is for me. and I might get it, and I might be like, well, this is enough for me, and this is how I might do that, and maybe that's what I have to see myself doing, because certain people may see what you got, and they may look at your potential and be like, well, you should be over here, like that. I had some people that knew me like that. They was like, well, you can do this, like that, and other. And I said, no, I don't want to do that like that. I ain't gonna lie to people like that. I ain't gonna lie to people like that. Tell people a lie. Like, I'll bless them. I help them. If asked, if you ask me and I do that in the wrong way, then I'm cursing a person. And I can't see myself being a curse to a person. I might have to find ways, but I'm a wise person. I believe to be. I've been gave the information to people who I think can do it, and I'll bless them with it. But like now, I got it off my hands. So I've been gave, and I be trying to do it, but they won't. It just don't seem like people will do it. I'm like, come on, man, get, get encouraged to do this. Just come here. I'm about to give you every information. I'm about to put you on here, this, that, and the other. And they be in the same state of mind, and I'm thinking, I'm like, oh no, you gotta get, you gotta take this off of me, man. I want to get you blessed so I can, so I have the right to do whatever I want to do. I want to relax. If I want to sleep the whole day through, eat 3 times a meal. I mean, 3 times, 3 times a day or whatever, 2 times a day, whatever. And relax and just focus myself and just walk and do the basic things that I want to do. I ain't got to drink. I ain't got to smoke. I ain't got to do nothing. I can just come in, watch my, you know, I'm a new. I like the news, so I just sit back and I just watch the news all day long. For real. If I'm seeing something, it's either on social media or uh, it's either on social media if I'm seeing something, or it's on the news channels. If it ain't coming through them platforms, I ain't. It's nothing you gonna be able to tell me. I mean, like YouTube or something, I might catch it every once in a while, but I'm like in my time, I'm like really old fashioned compared to somebody my age. They be like, "Well, I'm doing this and another." Well, you entitled to do that, brother or sister. That ain't me. You ain't doing what I'm doing. I ain't doing what you doing. And let's walk in peace amongst each other. You know. So people always stigmatize and stuff. So I got to that place. Like, a rude awakening. They try to put me in some stuff like that. They're gonna get a rude awakening. Like, man, look, I don't want to do none of that. Just give me my peace. Just want to be with my kids and just love my kids. And y'all can have everything. Y'all can have the whole earth if you want to. I don't even want the whole earth. I just want, all I want is my kids and everybody to mind their business, love the commandments of God, everybody walk in peace with one another, respect one another, stuff like that. I don't want, me personally, if I was to narrow it down to a few things in life, I probably would number it down to that. I would probably say the only thing I really, now if I had to do things for my kids, I would do that. Then that would probably be the only thing, and that would come to a point that, and I feel that's what it's coming to. I think that's why I'm saying this today, because I'm thinking, I'm like, I don't care what I do, it's just not giving me the satisfaction. It's not making me happy. Every place that I go, it stressed the living daylights out of me. I be ready to knock the living daylights out of me. Just truthful. I be like, man, I can't stand people that Grown people that's doing that, I can't stand dealing with grown people, man. Some of the nastiest attitudes you ever dealt with. I'm like, look, I can't. No, can I deal with people? And I'm gonna tell them, nope, can't deal with them. I tried it. I dealt with people in politics. I dealt with people in regular things, and can I do it? Absolutely not. But I ain't gonna, like Marcus Garvey say, if you don't go forward, then you would die. And I ain't trying to die, but I ain't about to be lying to myself neither, or nobody else. But I come to a place in life where I pass on the torches for other people to begin to learn. Because when we have those moments, when we have those health moments, when your health is not proper, and that's when most people do walk away from stuff. They be like, nope, can't do it no more. I can't do it. I try to do it. I try to program it in my mind, but is it worth it? Is it really worth it? Is it really worth going through what I'm going through? It would be better for me to stop doing things at this particular level and to be grateful for what I've already done than to keep going on and put myself in worse predicaments just because other people would like to see me doing things, or because this person want to see me do this, or because that person want to see me. No, I can't do it no more because of the series of events that have happened in my life. And this is why I said I've come to a point where I can relate to some of the way people think in life. They think the way that they think. And it shows you that because I'm in a position, I think different from most people. You know, I'll think most different from most people. People that get right here, they probably take that and go a million miles an hour, you know? And, but hey, well, at least it's a blessing to that person. I feel like, well, God, hallelujah. If it's a blessing to the next person, then if it's going to set them free, then God bless. Because to me, my own personal opinion is like being in life is like being in slavery. I don't care if it's a blessing or a curse. It seems like is you gotta always do something. Like, wait a minute, that's a curse, man. That's a curse that you always gotta do something. Like every day, what you gotta do today? You gotta do this, that, and the other. Like, wait a minute, do I actually gotta do that? Today you gotta do this, that, and the other. And at the age that I'm at, I'm like, please, I'm about to limit that. I'm about to go down a list of different things. I'm a, I got a lot of stuff, but some of the other stuff that I'm doing, I don't think I need to be doing that. So I'm about to size it. I'm about to size stuff down to a place that I can do it. Because I got to do what's beneficial for me and for my offspring. Because only what I want to do anyway is for my kids anyway. I don't need a lot of people. You know, God bless the people, and I will help them. I've done it. I've done it. You know, whether they realize it or not, I already did it already. Like I tell people when I'm talking, I'm like, look, I don't represent myself when I come here. I put myself down because if it was like that, I would never be up in there in the first place. If it was in the government, in the government position, if it was left up to me, I wouldn't even be in a lot of the stuff that I'm in. I'm just doing that because I'm trying to think positive thoughts. This ain't what I really want, what I really did want. All I wanted was all my kids, have fun with my kids, live with happiness with my kids, do things with my kids. Outside of that, I'm not, all these extracurricular things. I necessarily really don't want to do them. I ain't gonna even lie to people. You know, I bless people because I have to do it to keep myself in the right mind, the right state of mind. That's what I feel for my own self. See, the next person might do what they do, but see, when I do stuff, I do put my heart in there a lot. So now I found out that, oh, after doing this, minute after minute, second after say day after day, getting up and going through the process in life, I figured out, you know, first of all, I gotta change the mindset. I gotta say, let me cast this imagination down that exalts itself against the knowledge of God. Even though I feel like life in itself can be slavery, I feel like it's bondage. And it itself, that's just my spin on how I feel at this particular moment. You know, it's good to see how other people feel. You know, the next people be like, well, shoot, I get the best out of life. Well, praise God. Keep living life. You know, I'm not I'm not envious of that. If we can follow peace, but don't what you don't do is put your dogmatic stuff on me. Because what I might find a blessing, you may not see it as a blessing. So what we have to do is come to some common ground to say, okay, you want to do that, I want to do this. I got people right now. They tell me all around, man, I can't wait to be a millionaire. I can't wait to be a billionaire. But when it's time for them to get there, they don't want to do it. They just do it because they see stuff, the images placed before them. But to do the things to do, they won't even go to the places that they want to go to. So I'm thinking like, do I want to deal with people like that to the place that why you come projecting to me, you want to do these things, but you don't want to take the time to do the things that you need to do to. That's becoming a stressful thing. Should I have to do that? Absolutely not. I shouldn't have to do that. So I had to see what was the thing that made me feel the way that I feel because of the lack of somebody else doing something. They've been to put their energy off on you. You gotta watch who you talk to. You know, some people they'll project false energies in your way. And then you start figuring out why am I feeling like this? Because people got spirits. They'll project that stuff. Now I wasn't thinking like this. I went thinking to that like I gotta keep that, so as a man thinking so easy. So that's what I've become. If I think that way, then I won't be able to do Psalms 82. I fall short of that particular scripture. So then now I'll be doing like the rest of them. I just have that, and I'll be hiding the truth of God. Or did I really? I actually didn't, because what I'm supposed to do is different from the next person, and how they do what they do is not necessarily how I do what I do. You know how a person do what they do. We ain't all got to do the same thing. We've been programmed to think these particular ways. Oh, we got to do this like that, or you got to do that like this, and I should do that like that. Shoot, I could do what everybody else is doing. I could turn. I was thinking that. I was thinking about it. Prime example for CJC Hood News. For example, I was like, you know what? I ain't gonna just do hood news. In actuality, I ain't. I I promoted a few things from the hood perspective, but it really ain't like that. It's not really hood news, because people think the formality of hood is you about to you be drinking and smoking and doing all kind of stuff. But I ain't. That's not what I'm saying. so I got a different spin on it, you know, and that's probably what's keeping me going as of now, because in that I found a different way, and I ain't gonna let my left hand or my right hand is talking about right now. But I got some things and plan that I'm gonna do, because one thing I've come to the point to dealing with is when I do get when God does do the big restoration, the big reconciliation, and I'm with my kids. And guess what? I'm gonna been undid everything that I needed to do to break this bondages of slavery that people have made people do. If I'm gonna do something, it's not gonna be bound by slavery tactics of life that people have presented. Life in itself, in general, no, it's good. It's not slavery, because you can do things that is not slavery. But sometimes you can feel that way. It can feel like that. Like, dang, I'm forever doing this. I'm forever doing this. Can I just do this, that, and the other? And they like, no, you gotta do this. You gotta wake up, you gotta go do this, that, nothing. Man, do I really gotta do that? And then in the word of God, it tells you, you gotta do this, that, and the other. Oh, man, shit, I really have to do that. And I just put myself in a position of other people. Like, do you really want to do it? And this is why it's only gonna be so many people that make it in. And that's probably how the devil got deceived. And a third of that's how probably people who was once good became evil in the blink of an eye. Became evil. Like, man, you was doing so good. You was doing so well. You did run well. Who did hinder you that you should not obey the truth? You know, that's a scripture. Ye did run well. How did you feel if God told you you run well? Who hindered you? Who stopped you? Better start talking about, maybe it's the people that you were speaking to, you know. And I can say that because I get in that position sometimes. I'm like, well, what? I was running well, but what stopped me? What made me start thinking these thoughts? Because other people's energies, their particular thoughts, and engaging in conversations with them, and then realizing ain't no truth in nothing they say. Like, I had to help an artist. He said I had 100 views on this, that, and the other. I was like, okay, where's it at? You can't prove that you got 100 views, and you got less than 25 views. But then you did have the maximum amount on a different platform, but you didn't say it that way. So in that, I was feeling some type of way about it. I'm thinking like, I just started literally laughing. I was like, but you've been with all of these people, and you project that you ain't got none. There's people that have been with people, man, and they got thousands of followers. For example, some people don't know that, okay, Deidre Haddon was with, Sean Harden was with Deidre Haddon. Well, when Deidre Haddon got moved on and started doing things by himself, Sean Harden got his couple of, you know, thousands of followers. I can guarantee you he ain't got no 100 followers behind that if he with everybody that he with. You know, his brother said, well, I know this person, I know that person, I know this person, I know that person. And sometimes them energies, they'll stop you. You guys sometimes you gotta cut people off. If they don't want to do what's right, no matter how much you want to see people succeed. I feel like if I let go of people that don't want to go nowhere, that it stopped me. I feel like, where is energy coming from? I was not thinking this. And sometimes you got to cast your own thoughts. Make sure my thoughts ain't in a position that make me think like this and make me continue in that way. Sometimes you got to cut off all kind of people. It's people that don't want to do stuff, cutting them off. Don't even. It gets to the point that I'm gonna follow peace with you. I ain't gonna say nothing to you. I feel like I could be more peaceful to you in life by not saying nothing to a person. I'd be at peace. You could be at more peace with a person. There's people I've talked to that ain't. I mean, what can you say with a person that ain't even engaging in that? You can't say nothing because people's energies can influence your energy to go the opposite direction from what you intended. Because somewhere in that ain't no truth. It's not 100% truth. God said, "Let His word be true, and every man a liar." And I just believe, bruh. I told the brother today, and and I could probably pick up in my mind like, this sound like a bunch of lies. Because if it's the truth, then why come you not in these places? If you got a family that got mansions and you ain't in it, and they can't put you in it and say, "Kinfolk, you, my family, I got you." You know, if I got something, I want to look out for my family, point blank. If they got it, then you got it. But then as the conversation went on continually, I said, no, I just ain't adding up. So I ran it by him one more time. I said, so your cousin got a radio station. He doing what I'm doing, right? He said, yeah, man, he got all of these connections. That and other. I said, so what is the name of his radio station? I said, is it a show, an FM radio, and stuff like that? He said, yeah, it's off the chain. He doing what you doing, like this, that, and other. I'm like, okay, it's against the cause, man. And that's when I reflect back, that's the energy that was trying to put me in other ways. Because there wasn't no other, I wasn't feeling like this. And other things might have tried to do it, but it's not going to pluck me away from that. And I can choose to reverse the curse. Because you got to know, there's demonic people that's probably like, yes, hallelujah, you're not going to do this. You're not going to do that. You're not going to do this. No, I am still going to do it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to see, you got to rightly evaluate your life. I'm examining myself at the end of the day, kinfolk, whether I be of the faith or not. Because uh, do I have, do I want to keep company with a person that ain't going to be 100% real, or they got something that's kind of shaky on the outside of them? You know, because in actuality, man, I get by myself, that's when the greatest stuff start happening. So I feel truthfully that people try to come along and they try to manipulate, they try to con, they try to imposter the real deal, and they try to bring down what is true. So sometimes you got to let them kind of go because they just lingering on to you. They not really putting back the same energy. I'm thinking like, man, you supposed to put back the same energy. And then I'm getting the back energy back, and it's making me feel like, why did I just do this, man? I'm getting the wrong energy back. And that's what it is. And sometimes in life, we gonna have these different thoughts, but we able to cast that thing down. I'm casting that thought down about the thoughts that I had, that I was about to think today. It could have been the majority of my day, and I would have been like, oh man, I'm feeling bad about this. I'm not gonna let that thought become me. That's somebody else's energy that they trying to project on me. Because because they not walking in truth. Because I broke it down to them. I said, look, tell me the truth. If you can do this, then you don't need to do this. If you go before people, like I said, they say, I know this, that, and other. You won't actually literally know them. Because if that was the case, if you knew them like you say you know them, would you be in the position that you in? Absolutely not. You know. So too many lies show me that, okay, Proverbs 17:4 say, a wicked doer giveth heed to false lips. So that I mean, at some point I must be a wicked doer if I'm gonna believe false lips. If I'm actually gonna believe and false lips that you got all of the that all of these things is going on within a person. Do I actually believe that person? No. I can't believe a person that's gonna tell me somebody can do something for them that haven't done it for them already. That's a lie. A lie is a lie, no matter who tell it. You can get two people of different complexions to tell a lie. A lie is a lie. The word says, a wicked doer giveth heed to false lips, and a liar giveth ear to a naughty tongue. So it made me see the inside scoop on people. So if a person is a wicked doer, you're going to believe false lips. So when I go do a review of something, I go see something, I say, okay, this, that, and the other happened like that. Okay, this is that and the other. Now, can I, if I'm lying about it, it ain't gonna work out truthfully about it. Because then that means you're lying about different things. I'm, but what I do is I tell people the truth about these particular things. I ain't gotta lie to manipulate or to win a fan favor or get a pat on the back and stuff like that. I actually can say that God has blessed me. But people think that everybody's blessed. Everybody's not blessed. Because if that's the case, then why you not in a position? Why they not helping out their people if they so like this, that, and the other? If a person say they got it going on, then why they not getting you on if they got it going on? Because sometimes people ain't got it going on. We just want them to have it going on. And even if they did have it going on, then why they want to help you? And then if that's the case, then why you ain't got nothing to bring to the table? Because you already been found guilty of a lie one time. See, that's why I examine the people. I be like, let me examine this. Even in this broadcast, I examine a person as a liar. I could tell when a lie is a lie. I'm like, you ain't gonna lie to me. You got lessons for you. You tell me I got 10,000 different things. No, put it together. Let me see. No, it's a lie. A lie is a lie. God's word even said it. Now, that's what makes a person even more of a liar. The Bible says, let God be true and every man a liar. So is that person a true or is that man a liar? He's a liar. Ain't no truth in you. You people go in life, well, I did this, that, and another. Well, I forgot this, that, and another. You forgot it. How you forget it? You ain't never had it. And you even said that you ain't have it. So you can't even get your life straight. And that's the energy that people are put off. That's bad spirits. And them bad spirits will try to bring a stronghold to you. And what you have to do is you have to engage in truth. So when you engage in truth, you can break off that false spirit, because that's what people want you to do. They want you to think something contrary that ain't really meant to help you, but it's to harm you, to stop you from being successful, so that you won't gain the way your day of joy, your day of peace, because they're in a miserable place where they don't have no under them to be happy about anything. They don't want to achieve anything. They just want to manipulate and lie and say, well, I've got this, but I don't really got this. That's bad to say, well, I know these people, but then when it's time to go to know these people, you don't know these people. That's that's sad. They're like, who are you? I don't know you. You was with them. I didn't. Did I actually know you like that? Because if that's the truth, then it's the truth. But certain people be making a figmentation. They be making up few, certain things they do. Not everything, but certain things they do. To the point, the real stuff, they ain't even talking about that. That's how you know it's a lie. They be like, well, like prime example, the dude said I had 100 followers or whatever the case may be. Said on what? He said, well, it used to be there. Was it really? Because in actuality, the situation that you was in, the spirit that you had behind you wasn't amped up to that place where you had that. Even to this day, if I do something, I can go back to places where it was at, or else they just did something else with it. But my point is, I can go back over and tell you certain things where things was at. I can give you certain networks and stuff like that. I might have forgot certain paths, but I ain't gonna sit here and say that I had this, that, and other, and I didn't have it. I would have to. Nowadays, you got to show people like, okay, this is what I'm talking about. This is just like me being able to do something on Big O Live, and here I have to be able to prove that I'm able to do that, you know. So negative energies sometimes make you think of something less, just in that. I said people think underground. Why they think underground? Because of all the other thoughts that other people put on you. So you never think no more higher than yourself. See, if I think this energy, then that's what other people are projecting, because they don't really want you to succeed in actuality, because they're manipulating. They're not lifting the finger. Hit 9 times out of 10. This is how you know something. What are they doing to invest in it? What are they doing to put in something that you got going on? If you can't really name too many things, but they always have their hand out for something, then that's more like them uh, being something else to you. Sort of like they they just want to just be there to get stuff from you, instead of being on the same level with you. They're more in need than in a given position. That they need this. They need truth. They need they need to walk in the sincerity of their heart, but they won't do it. They they won't be truthful and say, I don't have it together. And when you say that you don't have it together, that's when stuff can get together. Because once you put forth an effort, then things can happen for real. And you ain't got to imagine stuff. It'll happen for real. And I realized that I had to look at that. I was like, wait a minute, let me review this. Brother, you done lied before. You had lied before. And it's not that I'm casting a stone at the brother, but When a person think you can't review things, like, listen, you can go back over a situation and say, like, look, certain things is a lie. Now, if you got proof, then let's prove it. Let's go to it. Let's connect with it. Let's do all these things with it. Don't say something and don't do it. You know, people may have it. May have done it. Well, just prove it. We're in a time that we're living in that everybody like, prove it. Prove that you can do this. If you can prove that you can do this, then maybe I do this, that, and another. But see, I've done this at a certain point where maybe it had to come like that. Maybe I have to stop doing what I've been doing on the level I've been doing it at. So maybe people can understand that I gotta protect my mind, my body, my soul, gotta protect my children and everything else, so that they can have, so I can enjoy them and as well enjoy my life. But my life enjoyability, I didn't lie on this part, that I would rather spend time with them than dealing with a lot of different people. I don't even lie, because that's what I've been doing. I've been around other people, and I've been trying to engage and get things in position that'll help things turn out for the good on that end, you know. But I ain't really enjoying the best of my life, because my life has something to do with my kids, and I cannot and will not pursue forth. And the person that made me do that is a fool. Like, you enjoy life. How am I gonna enjoy life? And what is life has been taken from me. That's not funny. I can't see how you gonna tell me enjoy life, but a life that I created, it's not there. So how am I enjoy? How you gonna enjoy? And I go places and people still don't know how to do stuff. Like, no discernment worth nothing. Like, how can I enjoy life? That is a life. That's a life for me to enjoy life. These are lives for me to enjoy. I can't just go on and be like, well, I'm gonna enjoy life. I'm gonna go do this, that, and another. That's a false perception on life. You cannot do that. A person that just can do that and forget all that, that's a person that, you know, you got some missing components in life. Because I can't see how you can just go through life and say, this is gonna be like that. No, it got